Hey, what's going on? Meteorologist Mike Linden with an update on major Hurricane Ian, as it has now cleared the island of Cuba and is working its way into the Gulf of Mexico as we speak as a major hurricane. Let's jump right into the MyRadar app and take a look at Ian. You can see that if we tap on it here, again, a Category 3 hurricane with wind speeds of roughly 125 miles per hour. As we'll soon get to, it is likely that we will see Ian intensify to a Category 4 hurricane as it enters the incredibly warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. So let's take a look here at the state of Florida, looking like a paint by number this morning. Just for right now, I'm going to turn off the hurricane tracker layer so you can see the watches and warnings in place for nearly the entire state. This yellow color here for South Florida, that is a tornado watch. Of course, just because a hurricane is on its way doesn't mean tornadoes are not possible. That is certainly a real threat as Ian works its way northward here. Now, perhaps a bit more concerning, these bright pink colors, and that stretches from the Everglades National Park through Marco Island in Naples, Fort Myers, Sarasota, and into the city of Tampa. That is a hurricane warning. That is in place and remains in effect through the life of Ian as it works its way north and eastward, expected to make landfall here over the next 2 or so days. Let alone the fact that we are looking at incredibly strong winds heading for Florida. It's the storm surge that is really going to be a major threat for those coastal communities, and then all of the rain coming from Ian as well. Let's jump right into the high resolution satellite here. Of course, now we have the sun really showing us all of the action of Ian. So again, you can see that eye, something that we did not really see yesterday, really starting to come together now as, again, it intensifies. You can see that it's just now beginning to exit the island of Cuba and enter, as you'll see in a moment, the incredibly warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Let's look at the tropical satellite here. And again, that eye is really now well defined. This is a characteristic of a major hurricane, that being, again, a Category 3 and above, and that is what Ian is right now. If I zoom out just a little bit here as well, I mean, just look at those outer bands. It's been raining here in Orlando, the MyRadar headquarters. It's been raining since yesterday evening, and that is going to continue and really begin to pick up here over the next couple of hours. I mentioned the sea surface temperatures. If you've never been to the Gulf of Mexico, whether it be in the panhandle of Florida, New Orleans, or the west coast of Florida, this time of year, it really feels like you're stepping into a bathtub. Of course, the temperature of your skin, 98.6 degrees. So this is, again, really close to your body temperature, 88, 90 degrees. This is some of the warmest water on Earth right now. And of course, go figure, this is hurricane fuel here. This is exactly what this storm wants in order to really intensify over the next couple of hours. You can see that 90-degree reading there just off of Naples and Marco Island there. Again, incredibly warm water, and that is likely why you're going to see Ian intensify rather quickly here over the next 6 to 12 hours. We'll take a look at the cone in just a moment and close things out. Again, the storm surge flooding, this is really concerning because it impacts almost the entire western coastline of the Sunshine State. We begin in the Florida Keys, upwards of 1 to near 3 feet of storm surge as Ian passes by to the west of Key West and the Dry Tortugas. We zoom in a little bit again on Marco Island and near Naples. You can see greater than 9 to 10 feet of storm surge. Again, this is water being pushed inland as those winds push northward here. We're going to zoom in a little bit more toward Naples, Fort Myers, Bonita Springs, and Port Charlotte. Again, you can really see, let me zoom in so you can really get a good look at it here. See those red colors and see how far inland they extend? That's, again, pretty significant here, being that this is the part of the state, that being Florida, that doesn't see hurricane landfalls really all that often. In fact, the last time that a Category 3 and above hurricane made landfall in the city of Tampa, well, that was 1921. So again, not a lot of practice for those folks. Bear in mind, a lot of people have been moving to the Tampa-St. Petersburg area here over the past several years, one of the fastest growing portions of the United States. So a lot of people really not used to this at all. So again, preparation is really going to be key Again, we head northward towards Sarasota, Bradenton, as well as St. Petersburg there, upwards of 3 to 6 feet. And again, here is Tampa. Let me zoom on in here from Ruskin to Tampa there, even near the airport and Feather Sound, again, close to near 10 feet of storm surge. It's not just Tampa, though. That extends northward towards Cedar Key, upwards of 3 to 6 feet. And again, once we see Ian make landfall in Florida and work its way north and eastward, now storm surge impacts extending toward Georgia and South Carolina. So minor compared to what the west coast of Florida will see, but nonetheless, still some really impactful numbers there. Now, wind is just one part of the story with this hurricane. Of course, that's how it's classified, right? But you can't just get hung up on that, because beyond the wind, it is going to be, again, the storm surge and a lot of rain. Anywhere where you are seeing yellow here on this map, we are looking at potentially upwards of near 2 feet of water here over the next 5 days, most of which is going to arrive over the next 3 or so days once we get into around Wednesday as Ian gets closer to the state. But again, here is that rainfall potential, and boy, those numbers are troubling, right? From Tampa through to Orlando, even Jacksonville and Duval County part of that too. So let's switch back here to the MyRadar app and close things out. I'm going to go into the layers menu. It looks like the stack of cards there. We're going to turn on the hurricane tracker layer. And again, here is the cone from the National Hurricane Center. So, of course, today is Tuesday, the 27th, but as we get into the 28th and 29th, that is when we are likely to see Ian just off the west coast of the state. As a Category 3, again, major hurricane, according to the NHC, that will be tomorrow at around 6 o'clock in the evening. So, again, Ian will be covered by nightfall, which is not ideal. That's why you need to be prepared now. Again, a major hurricane, expecting some weakening here, so there is a bit of a silver lining here. Expected to intensify first to a Cat 4 over the next 24 or so hours, and then into and close to landfall into Wednesday evening, a potential weakening to, again, a Category 3, still a major hurricane, and then according to the NHC, as we get into the early morning hours of the 29th, that is when we could be looking at a landfall going right into Tampa Bay. Again, look at that timestamp there, around 6 o'clock in the morning there on Thursday, right on through into Tampa. And again, with all of that wind pushing water right into the bay here, not ideal. Of course, there's still more time for the track to continue to adjust, but I'll say that here over the past few days, we've seen that track continue to inch a little bit farther inland with each run coming in from the NHC. So not ideal when it comes to, again, the sheer amount of water that's coming from the wind as well as from the skies with all of that rainfall. As Ian works its way inland into Thursday evening, weakening to a Cat 1, impacting portions of central Florida, Daytona Beach as well, before this thing turns almost straight northward and heads for Jacksonville and into Georgia. So I will mention as well as we close things out here that, again, you need to be prepared now. There is still time as Ian is just now, again, working its way northward of Cuba. I advise you to go to hurricanestrong.org. There you can see all of these amazing checklists put together from our partners at Flash that will make sure that you and yours are hurricane strong and safe during an event such as this with a major hurricane heading for the west coast of Florida. Of course, we will keep you updated throughout the life of the storm here on MyRadar. Be sure to follow us across all of our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and of course, live streaming in the app as well. If you're watching on YouTube, I really would appreciate it if you click on that thumbs up button, that like button, as it really helps us break through the algorithm and helps us get the potentially life-saving information to people that really need to see it. Click on that subscribe button as well. That's totally free. And of course, click on that notification bell as well. That way you always know whenever we drop a new video, or of course, whenever we go live as well. We'll be having quite a bit of live coverage right up and through landfall. All right, so that's going to do it. Again, please stay safe and stay dry from all of us here on the MyRadar team. We'll be back. And again, stay safe. See ya.